Hello and welcome back to Bump Love. Did you know that crimes that involve children are considered crisis situations? Did you know that children are unable to express their emotions and it's usually covered under guilt, anxiety and shame? Did you know that for a child to be able to recover from trauma requires the aid of a parent who at some times is the perpetrator of the crime? This week we would like to invite SSP Maureen Atuhaire, the Acting Commissioner, Child and Family Protection Department. She is a mother and a feminist. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for hosting me.
You're welcome. So what are the highest reported child-related crimes that your department handles?
The department that I head works hand in hand with the CID. And so far the most reported crimes are child abuse, but child abuse takes various forms. And we have defilement, we have neglect to provide, we have torture, and we also have corporal punishments in schools.
Yeah.
Yes.
We understand that child abuse comes in many different forms. What has been the most rampant in your experience?
Yes, the most rampant is defilement, but also neglect to provide. It's like some parents have neglected their responsibility and left it to other people to take care of the children, yet they do not know that the children depend on them for their survival. Yes, so in most cases, some parents, the caregivers, also the people that are in a home, say for example the relatives, do take advantage of these children and end up abusing them in different way or another.
How do you know of that? How does that reach you? Is it always that somebody has to come to you and report a case, or do you also always have your antennas up?
Yeah, who's reporting these cases? Anyone can report a case. We have police officers who also come and report cases on behalf of the children, but we have parents, we have community members, the local council chairpersons, the secretary for children. We also have probation officers and neighbors. They usually call or they come to the police station and file such cases. Yes, but also parents come in and report such cases, and then we begin the investigations.
If they are not the perpetrators, definitely. So take us through the steps, because like one of the things that Angie said earlier is that, you know, children can't speak, and they can't say these things, and so someone is reporting on their behalf.
Yes.
And I think that's why you asked that question, like, so who's reporting this case? If there's a case of child neglect, are the children coming to you? Maybe it's teachers, but based on what you said, it's anybody around the child. So I feel bad for those who are locked out and no one can even see that child and help that child. But that said, a case has been reported to your department. Please take us through the steps on now. After that, what happens?
Okay, to begin with, the Department of Child and Family handles what we categorize as minor cases according to the law, but also the capital cases are handled by CID. The case can begin from CID desk. At some point it crosses over to Child and Family, or vice versa. So once the case comes in at the police station, we have a senior standby officer at the counter, or what we call the front desk, who is going to look through and determine the ingredients of the offense, and then they determine where it's going to go. So after reporting, there is what we call first information. It is extracted and it is addressed to the OCCID, who we call the Officer in Charge Investigations, and then he or she determines whether it's going to Child and Family or it's going to CID. Yes, then we have to listen to the victim. We also summon the witnesses. We may summon or we may choose to go to the ground, depending on the circumstances of the case. If we invite someone to come over and they do, then we take their statements, we compile the file. But in some cases, you don't need to wait. You have to come in and effect arrest, because you don't want them to run away. You also want to offer like an environment where the victim is going to feel comfortable that at least my case is being done. Yes.
So while you were speaking, I remembered something in the movies. So when a child-related crime happens, usually Child Protection Services takes away the child immediately from that environment while they investigate. Also, how do we ensure the safety of the child, especially if the perpetrators are family or people that are supposed to be taking care of them while the investigations are happening?
We have shelters that we work with, but we also have a shelter at CID headquarters in Chibuli. So we withdraw that child and take it to the shelter to allow the child to speak to you freely, where they are free from threats. But we also offer that kind of protection because they are really traumatized and they really feel they need to be safe. But if we do not have that space and we feel maybe the relatives are going to be coming around, then we have to refer this child to other shelters that we do work with. Then we have to go to the ground, speak to the witnesses, collect any evidence that you need. You compile the file, then you arrest the suspect. You may choose to arrest immediately, depending on the circumstance of the case, or you arrest after you have investigated and then send the file to the RSA for legal advice.
Yeah. So what happens in situations where you have a crime has been, against a child? What are the words? Committed.
Yes.
A crime has been committed against a child, and maybe it's a community member that has reported and says there's a problem in that house. I hear there's a lot of battering. That child comes out bleeding and all of that stuff, and they've reported. You've come to get the child, and the parents, let's say it's the dad perpetuating, is defiling the daughter, and the mom is refusing. She's like, no, it's not true, or whatever, because the two parents are in there, and one is saying, no, don't take my child, and there's that fight that happens a lot. We've seen it also with gender-based violence, where you've taken the man, and the woman comes and cries at police. Musajja wange, nedda mumuleke, let him come home, ajja kunkubirayo, if you arrest him, ate ne mumuleka. So what happens in situations like that?
Yes, a crime is a crime. We have to make sure that we arrest. If a report has been made, then it's subject to investigation. There is nothing like, do not do this. To us, we take it as a crime. If it is reported, then we have to investigate. Then the findings of the investigations will lead us to what we are supposed to do. We know that there are some cases that are reported, but you just find out that people have had a disagreement. At times it's not true. That's why it's subject to investigation. So according to the findings that we get, they really determine where the case is going to go. But we've also had instances where the cases are genuine. Like you've rightly said, someone files a case today and the next day they're saying, I've pardoned them. But the law says if you commit a crime, you're supposed to be penalized. Yes. Though at times we hit a snag, when you have no victim, there is no case. At times the victims are hidden away by the relatives, by the parents. You find yourself with the file, but you do not have the victim.
There you have it. When we do come back, we would like to delve a little bit more in the department's involvement with gender-based violence.